You ever look at a franchise and think, dude, maybe it's time to let this alien retire? Yeah, me too. But then, boom, the Hollywood drags or the boy Predator out of the cradle sleep again. Like, surprise, he's sensitive now, he has feeling, and possibly that issues. Predator Badlands is just another sequel. It's a 30-piece season that disguised as a sci-fi blockbuster, and somehow it's kind of work. Our new Predator isn't the usual the 8-foot gym bro from the outer space. He's smaller, scraper, and basically the alien equivalent of that one of the guy at the gym that was still the benches with the shaky arms but never quite. He isn't around and his clean hates him for it. He's that stretch of once delated from the family tree. It's giving the usual being a face hugger and disappointment. So dude out here trying to prove himself and the species that literally is worship the violence. And ironically, that makes him the most human the predator we have ever had. There's something that darkly is pathetic about the predator having imposter syndrome. Like, bro, you hunt the species across galaxy and you still feel like you are the not enough table. He's basically an extreme patience and Gen Z the chunkly is online spirit, particularly anxious and desperate for validation from the people who think the emotional or a weakness to earn his respect. Or rounds gets dropped, and I don't know, is that world so hostile that makes the Doom the Eternal look like Animal the Crossing. Everything the planet wants him dead, and the plant's bugs probably the rocks too, and breathes it killed. If it doesn't breathe, it still kills. Yeah, do you hear that? Alright. This is the part where is the dawn struck the mark, traction actually slapped. Landscapes look stunning, like the someone merged the Mad Max the free road with Avatar is the but bring it all the color and the joy out of it. It's a desolation is the porn in the best way, and our predator is stripped of all these fancy tech. No plasma caster, no invisibly just him and jungle, and his daddy is the disappointment echoing, and the background isn't the God of War 2 result Baton. New game, campaign. Enter the elephant, the synthetic, the companion. Half human, half robot. Alexandra is dread. She has no legs, literally rides shotgun as a backpack, and somehow it still carries the movie emotionally. Together, they form the weirdest body duo science, the Valet and Mad Max. It shouldn't work, but does. There's a scene and where she tries to tag him the compassion, and he's just standing there in the covered alley look like a cool stories toaster, and yet it's kind of touching. The chemistry is the between them is the only the pure. Normal, you ever look at a franchise and think, dude, maybe it's time to let this alien retire. Yeah, me too. But then boom, the Hollywood drags or the boy Predator out of the cradle sleep again. Like, surprise, he's sensitive now, he has feeling, and possibly that issues. Predator Badlands is just another sequel. It's a 30-piece season that disguised as a sci-fi blockbuster, and somehow it's kind of work. Our new Predator isn't the usual the 8-foot gym bro from the outer space. He's smaller, scraper, and basically the alien equivalent of that one of the guy at the gym that was still the benches with the shaky arms but never quite. He isn't around and his clean hates him for it. He's that stretch of once delated from the family tree. It's giving the usual being a face hugger and disappointment. So dude out here trying to prove himself and the species that literally is worship the violence. And ironically, that makes him the most human the predator we have ever had. There's something that darkly is pathetic about the predator having imposter syndrome. Like, bro, you hunt the species across galaxy and you still feel like you are the not enough table. He's basically an extreme patience and Gen Z the chunkly is online spirit, particularly anxious and desperate for validation from the people who think the emotional or a weakness to earn his respect. Or wrongs gets dropped, and I don't know, is that world so hostile that makes the Doom the Eternal look like Animal the Crossing. Everything the planet wants him dead, and the plant's bugs probably the rocks too, and breathes it killed. If it doesn't breathe, it still kills. Yeah, yeah, do you hear that? Alright. This is the part where is the dawn is Trachtenberg traction actually slapped. Landscapes look stunning, like the someone merged the Mad Max the free road with Avatar is the but bring it all the color and the joy out of it. It's a desolation is the porn in the best way, and our predator is stripped of all these fancy tech. No plasma caster, no invisibly just him and jungle, and his daddy is the disappointment echoing, and the background isn't the God of War 2 result baton. New game, campaign. Enter the elephant, the synthetic, the companion. Half human, half robot. Alexandra is dread. She has no legs, literally rides shotgun as a backpack, and somehow it still carries the movie emotionally. Together, they form the weirdest body duo science, the Wally and Mad Max. It shouldn't work, but does. There's a scene and where she tries to tag him the compassion, and he's just standing there in the covered alley, look like a school stories toaster, and yet it's kind of touching. The chemistry is the between them is the only the pure. No romance, no crying, just a broken the beings trying to survive, and the role that is sacked in the dead. The prey was about the I don't know, it's the primal instinct. Badlands is about emotional evolution. This movie is a PG-13. Yes, you heard that right. The Predator movie without red blood. The summer 1987 Arnold Schwarzenegger just screamed an Australian, and yet shockingly it's kind of work. Yes, you heard that goddamn right, because the Trachtenberg shots to violence like a re-rated ballad. You feel the brutalities even if you don't see it. A spark crack the ID hit repeatedly, but instead of the red car, we get a neon synthetic to feel it. It's a stylist and all I don't know, it's almost elegant, like a Tarantino directed by Apple. At that restraint, it adds to your tension. It's a horror by the sensation. It's not a saturation. It's still somewhere deep inside the I don't know the 12-year-old me scream. Let the predator the cook. Here's the thing. This movie is the only cost the 100 million, which in today the Hollywood economy is basically budget of two Marvel the cameos and the one Tyler Swift the song license. And yet is the Badlands looks the clean. Yes, that's exactly. Like the suspension clay is the clean. The shirt, the sun shots, and the screen, the green screen, and the desert. But the creature's design and the mock-up is the still the illusion. The real life on the scene the blockbuster that doesn't look like it was rendering on a PS4 is the cast in is the in yeah. You know that the Josa is the movement to feel the bicycle the weightly and you can sense storm the climbing and breath the steaming the truck the mass. The difference between is the motion the capture the motion the sculpture. Surprisingly the movie is the funny like actually funny is the not the marveled quickly is undercut is the every dramatic the moment the funny, the kind of humor the snakes doesn't apply and leaves before you cring. Most of it comes from the Predator Android dynamic. Think the Mandalorian is the meets the stepbrother. You're the off-guard is the weirdly android, and the completely is unaware is the I don't know how is the ridiculously is the there the solution is. This still I couldn't look down with this less better. And at this time is it feel like the predator was the watching TikTok tutorials of the beer table. Dude, you don't need a personality arc. You literally have a skull the collection. What makes the predator Badlands stand out isn't killed or visuals. It's the I don't know, it's the vulnerability. The predator bloods, dubs, and hesitates before a strike. He's not a monster anymore, he's a mirror. This is a clearly twist on the franchise DNA. For the Decides, the Predator wears the epic symbols of masculinity and power. Now is that they're the symbols, insecurity, legacy. We use it to watching the damn they see humans to fight for survival. Now we watching the aliens to fight for purpose. Predator the franchise has gone from the get the chopper and get the therapy, and honestly, I'm not mad at it. The under lasers and screaming the Badlands is the story about fake things and about the fighting the culture. The visual strange as the empathy. The predator isn't the hunting the humans anymore. He's hunting the I don't know his villains. It's most I don't know 2025 is the plot era. The alien feels the upwards because the toxic the work culture. There's the brilliant moment, whereas the round face is the massive alpha as the predator always realizes the honor isn't the winning, it's thriving, and this scene is hard because it's not just him the versus the monster, it's the versus the system. Predator is basically is blah 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 in his own the spaces. Call it the predator, onions it. And you can feel is the game influences the bleeding to try and God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, and even Elden Ring. Every the fights feel like a boss battle that starts with a cutscene and it ends with trauma. The sound design booms and the camera shakes and as the music feels like you're about to earn XP. But then his gameplay is the rhythm has a cost. It makes the middle act drag. And once you've seen one giant and the insect gets into deceptive, you have seen them all. It's like watching someone grind side in the quest while the main story waits the menu. Then let's be honest, the Predator biggest enemy isn't the Exoner of anymore. It's a studio in servers. And every time its franchise starts, finds its voice, the some axis to and walks and says the predator smiles is the more the kids like that. And the way out with the predator is I don't know, is the 20s, 80s, and the way sound with AVP is a Requiem and the now Badlands is the closest we have come is the balance. It's not perfect, but if soft and weird enough to laugh at his own legacy so without mocking it. And there's a scene is where the predator looks into the broken the visor and sees his reflection flickers between beast and boy, you know that right? That's the way it's you. This isn't a predator movie about the hunting. It's a predator movie about the healing. Who knew is the therapy the wouldn't come is the with mandibles. You can't not talk about the alley fanning here, okay? Be cool. And the she brings the gravitas to a role the couldn't means the pure is the sci-fi is the gimmick. Her synthetic character is part data and part desperation. A machine that designed to be is learning how to say no is when she tells the predator you don't have to earn your excess. It hits like a brick. And that's not just a dialogue, that's the mission statement for the entire the movie. If this film is the had a subtitle and it should be Predator Badlands, you're not. The visual the film is gorgeous. The Trachtenberg is a frames violence like a painter is a frames grief slow, misread, almost romantic. You know that the soundtrack by the Jerk in the Founders makes it feels like an opera for monsters. The treble beats mixed with synths is melancholy. It's not a bump you up music. You know that, right? It's a question your existence. The while impelling the something to music. The every sound has a purpose. The weird of predator attack. The dry the crack of L in the bone. This subtle beat before a kill. It's not just noise. It's a heartbeat at some point. Batman stopping to being about the aliens in thirdly is then start being about Hollywood itself. Think about it. And again is the franchise full of the pride and the tradition. The trying to pro it's still the real one in a younger, softer world and literally is Predator. That also literally is 20th century studio. And the marketing the movie has a beginning but subtext is feel like a apology. An apology for every lazy bot, the every stylus, I don't know, the cash brag, and the every studio exists, they will look at the art and how they connect. The Predator isn't just the hunter anymore. He's a symbol of Hollywood the fighting, the survive and escape that wants to kill originality. And the irony, no, he's finally good guy. You know that is the by the final is the act, okay? The order runs to stand the bloody, the beaten, and the triumphant is the against sunset. He doesn't win because he's stronger. He wins because he's smarter. He learns, and what the wins learning back in the I don't know is 87 is this sometimes is a survival and isn't about to kill. It's about the choice not to. When he finally activates, is the clock and walks away from the battlefield. You feel it? For the first name a long time, the Predator movie and the hope instead the hero, and the logo the fetus, and Predator's Badlands underneath is the 20th Century Studios. Hell yeah, you got that right, we get it. It's a corporate. But then if it doesn't still hit it, the Predator Badlands is not perfect. It rocks in the middle and it leans the harder humor and the sometimes the feel like the streaming the pilot and discuss it as a feature. And but it's also alive and the vibrant and the weird honestly is the and the unafraid to be earnest and era that's forgotten. How? And if you want the golden grounds, you might walk away disappointed. If you wanted the science in Sci-fi again, you might walk away surprised because underneath all the mask and muscle, you know that the predator was always about that one thing: the fear of being the hunter. And the 2025, maybe the hunter isn't alien anymore. Just thinking, guys. Only 1 second you think. Maybe isn't the audiences cashing the instinctively is trod in the desert of IP dust. So yeah, maybe Predator found it's the cell again. Not in blood, not in horror, honor, but if usually is because the pride wasn't about survival balance, it's about the healing. And honestly, that's hunt worth watching. Goodbye.